This video is brought to you by NordVPN. Go to nordvpn.com/bhlhudson or use code bhlhudson to get the best VPN in the game and to save on your purchase. So, literally minutes ago, I finished the 4th episode of Tafaz, which some people in my comments have said should be called Faz, just, the shortest version. This meme implies it should be called something completely different, but Tafaz is the perfect name, so I mess with it. This episode had a lot of stuff going on, so got a lot of thoughts. Let's talk about it. Spoilers for everything, you know how this goes. So this episode was also fantastic. I mean, I don't know what to say. If it keeps this up for the next 2 episodes, which I have no reason to believe it won't, it's gonna go down as maybe not one of my absolute favorite MCU things ever, but up there, pretty top tier stuff. But let's get into this episode specifically. First of all, the main thing from this episode, Wyatt Russell as John Walker, aka the new Captain America. First things first, before I get started, I know I mentioned this briefly I think in the last review, but if you dislike an actor because you don't like the character they're playing, I think I said you're an idiot. I don't know if that's strong enough to convey how stupid that is. I mean, it's stupid in any way, but especially if the character is a villain, that's the whole point of a story. It literally is what a child would do. A 5-year-old wouldn't understand the difference between an actor and the character. So that's your only excuse if you get mad at Wyatt Russell for playing this character, if you're a 5-year-old. And if you're a 5-year-old, I don't know why you're watching Tafaz. It's kind of a scary show for a 5-year-old. So anyway, yeah, I hope it's not that many people, because I mostly just see people complaining like this about those kind of people. I don't see those kind of people as much. So I hope that there are very few of them, but I heard he had to delete his Instagram, which is absolutely crazy, because he was getting hate for this character, which he plays exceptionally well, which is why you hate him. I refuse to believe someone can be that stupid. But anyway, he gives a great performance in this, and the character takes the turn that I was I and most other people will sort of expect it to, which is due to the pressure building up, from with himself especially, the expectations that come with the mantle, and the disrespect he's been receiving. He goes full, crazy supervillain kind of thing. Well, I guess not full crazy supervillain, but he's definitely going that direction. He goes bad, essentially. And yeah, even though I saw it coming, and I think most people did, it's still really well done here and interesting to watch. And again, I think a testament to how this show ties things together from different plot lines really well. They set up this character's problem that he is having to deal with these expectations and feels like he's not living up to them, which is only exacerbated by the disrespect he gets and how much he kind of sucks at the job. And then tie that into the serum storyline with the Flag Smashers, and it comes together in a great way, like a story should. I also found, it was a good story moment, but I found it also funny the moment after the door Milaje beat him up, where he's just damn, I suck at this. I'm really not cut out for this job. And it goes back to what the wise Stanley Tucci once said, which is the serum, amplifies everything that's already there. So if you're good, you'll become great. If you have a bit of bad in you, that's going to become stronger. And we're seeing that now. And I mean, in this episode, he's kind of gone full villain even before he takes the serum. He's just kind of awful and obnoxious and, ruins everything. And now with the serum, he can beat people to death. So not a great combination. That being said, I also like that you can still understand where he's coming from. With the Flag Smashers, which we'll get to. He talks about all these accolades he's gotten for what he did in battle. He doesn't feel good about that. He feels like he got accolades for bad stuff he did. And now he thought this was a chance to do good stuff, and now he can't even do that. So you can see exactly how he gets to this point. And even though he's a, terrible person who's, killing people in the street with the symbol of America and freedom and all that, you can understand how he got there. It's not just a random turn, and I think it's well done. All bolstered by, again, a great performance from a very good actor who is not the character. How can you be such a fucking muppet if you think that? Anyway, let's not get... Anyway, the GRC stuff, again, there are parallels drawn to real-world refugee situations in camps and this kind of thing, and it adds more of that interesting blip stuff. How, again, you take 4 billion people away for 5 years and then put them right back. It's going to lead to, besides the happiness and everything that comes from all your favorite heroes coming back, it's going to lead to some, social issues. I think it's brilliant to explore that here. In this MCU continuity, instead of trying to disregard stuff that's happened, I'm not trying to be mean to the X-Men films, but you know how they kind of just disregard what happened to the previous film? They use everything, even this huge stuff that maybe some writers will be yeah, we're just gonna act like that didn't happen. They use it as a driving force for this plot. And again, understandable motivation for the villain. So understandable that it actually relates to one of the main heroes, that he can understand it as well. And you can see where the motivation is coming from, it's just their methods, are not okay. And that's also fascinating to see the link there between Sam, where we also had that set up in the first episode with the boat and with the loan and all this stuff. And he can relate and talk to them. And then also the fact that they bring back his soldier counseling thing from Winter Soldier. That's a clever character detail to bring back that really fits for the situation. And also Anthony Mackie plays it really well. He's very good. And everyone's really good in this. As is also the girl who plays Carly. Really good performance. Now let's talk about the Wakanda stuff in this episode, which again, before last episode, was not expecting anything like this, but it's awesome. We get a Wakanda flashback at the beginning for how Bucky sort of went through his transformation. First of all, superb acting from Sebastian Stan in that scene. We've seen a lot of like pained Bucky moments. That's some of the best I think we've seen in the entire MCU so far. I am going to assume that is not meant to be the entire way they fixed it, because the way she says like, "You are cured now," kind of makes it seem like it was just this one moment that fixed him. I assume it was more than that, like it was several years worth of like help. Yeah, it must have been, because he also mentions like Shuri help and everything, so yeah. Anyway, okay. Forget that. But it was a great scene. And then just again on things I wasn't expecting to see in the show, the fact that they cross over with the Milaje coming in while Captain America's there as well and Zemo's there, like characters I didn't think I was going to see in the same room this whole season. It's just very cool. Again, like other shows would have had them, like the Milaje, they show up for like a little tease, like they're like, we're out there and maybe setting up something in the future, and then, but they don't actually play a part in the story because that would be too, that'd be too much to work with. Here, no, they play a part in the story. They have an awesome action scene. I love it. That action scene was fantastic as well. It was also pretty fun at the start where the new Captain America's just getting his ass kicked and they're just kind of like Zemo's just like sipping his drink and they're just watching and they're like, yeah, so this is happening. And also, seeing them kick John Walker's ass is pretty satisfying. And I thought it was a cool detail that they removed Bucky's arm since they gave him that arm in Infinity War. Little details that I guess don't ruin a scene if you don't remember it, but definitely enhance it if you do. You would think like a fan would think of, but you wouldn't necessarily. I mean, I guess now I do, but like with these big franchises, you don't necessarily expect them to remember these things or like put these things in, and because they're so specific, it might alienate some of the audience, and they do, and it's great. Let's talk about the other big action scene and kind of the finale of the episode, I guess, or the ending. In general, the action's great. It's there are a couple moments where it's a little clunky. I feel like I'm kind of nitpicking there. The action's awesome. The action's generally pretty great. I think it's just like the reason I say it is because I don't think it's as good as what we saw in the last episode, but it's still great. And there's so much of it. Like, it's an action-packed episode. And it is generally well choreographed, well filmed, well sound effected. And the use of the powers and different skill sets in the action is very well done as well. We also get to see Bucky in a knife fight again. It's nice to see, it's where he's most at home. And even though it does, of course feel like weird and wrong to see another guy with Cap's shield, especially after he takes the super soldier serum, because he is, more Cap-like then, and he sort of ruins that symbol a bit, as we'll talk about, especially at the end of the episode. But I will say, like, if you just take all that away, it is just a cool device to use in action. And, like, the way it, flings around and the way it can deflect stuff, it's cool. Even if it is then, once you put the context on it, feels weird and horrible, kind of. Also, there was a hint of some Captain America movie music when he picked up the vial. I think I noticed that, so I don't know. Put that in there. Then the murder of John Walker's friend. I thought it was well done, and it made him, even more frightening, because, we've seen what he's like when he doesn't have something to be, like, extremely emotionally pissed about. And now that he does, pretty scary, especially that he's serumed up. And then he goes full, like, Homelander at the end and just murders someone with the shield. Which, yeah, is kind of exactly the scene or, like, shot I was picturing when I was talking about I think he's gonna go bad and, go extreme with his, in an attempt to, I guess it wasn't, like, wasn't trying to get respect, he was trying to get, like, revenge, and he was very angry. But yeah, that sort of shot, it was a great shot with, like, the blood on the shield. Great stuff, and where I was expecting that character to go. I think story-wise, it's a great moment. I mean, not a great moment, but, like, a well-done moment, an interesting moment. I think the execution, again, because it has to be, like, PG-13, which I get, I guess I can't really complain about that, but the fact that you see, like, there are some shots where I'm like, why would you show it if you can't put any blood? Like, there's supposed to be blood, but then there isn't blood. It's kind of like when Killmonger cut the throat of one of the Milaje in Black Panther and there was no blood. It's just kind of like, takes you out of it for a second. So I thought the execution of that moment wasn't the greatest, but it was still pretty good. And story-wise, it's a great moment. Also, I look really red, I think, because of this lighting. I don't know, dude. I'm still trying to figure it out. Zemo, again, is sort of kind of really delightful in this episode. Weird twist for that character. It was fun to see him and the new Captain America interacting. And the funny moments work. Again, I feel like they're banter, although there isn't that much of it this episode, but between Sam and Bucky and Zemo, it's fun, feels natural, it's great. And the show is less like kind of gimmicky buddy cop than I think it maybe could have turned into. Because while I think it does it perfectly, it has that in small doses and has that in moderation, but it's not just like that's the whole thing and like that's all it has to offer. They built a great story first, and then they put the fun thing instead of the more lazy approach, which could have been just fun buddy cop stuff, like nonstop. And I think it's great for that reason. And their interactions feel really natural, and yeah, it's well done. And then finally, just here, I have some miscellaneous stuff. I still love the more low-key Winter Soldier, Bourne, but still a bit like grand MCU kind of vibe. The show has the tone. It's fits these characters perfectly. It was what I was hoping it would be, and it is that. I think Sharon is going to be bad, or not bad, but morally skewed in that she might be a member of the Flag Smashers, or she might have something to do with Power Broker. I don't think she is Power Broker, as some people suggested. I think there's something up with her, given how she's been in the past few episodes, how she's been introduced in this more, exiled, not too happy with her situation way. And also the fact that in this Sam says she's trustworthy. The fact that he just said that, I don't know. Maybe I could be wrong, but it feels like a writer kind of trying to instill that she is trustworthy, so then it's an even bigger twist when she's not. We'll see. It's one point where Wyatt Russell says, "Where is she?" Very Batman-esque. I think I was going to do like a funny Batman edit. Probably is funnier in my head than it actually will be. So maybe I just won't. And then 2 just unintentionally funny moments in an otherwise great show. 1, the fact that they have this dark conversation about, like, Carly's like, "I'm gonna kill your sister and your nephews." And then Sam shows up, like, in his Falcon suit. Generally, the super suits in the MCU haven't been, like, goofy, unless it's, like, intentional, the first Captain America, but, like, goofy where it sort of takes you out of it for a second. But I guess because the rest of the show is a bit more low-key, dark, and, like, we've seen them mostly in their civilian clothes, the fact that then he shows up in this slightly ridiculous suit, and it's the goggles. It has to be the goggles, where he just shows up and he's like, "Carly, you're gonna kill my nephews." It was a very serious moment, and then the suit kind of took me out of it for a second. And then also, great, effects and action and movie level stuff here, but there's this one moment where Bucky is running, and I don't know why, but it's the goofiest thing I've ever seen. I've seen it only once. I saw, I finished watching the episode like a few minutes ago, so I've only seen the episode once. But is it CGI? Is it just a really weird Tom Cruise run? I don't know, but it was a moment that kind of made me laugh. So yeah, there's that. So yeah, overall, great episode, great show. This is on par with episode 3, which I thought was the best episode, and the other 2 were not far behind, so freaking fantastic show so far. Yeah, at the end here, I also want to say, got some comments complimenting my quarantine-esque hair, since the hair cutting places have been closed for a while, so I appreciate that. That's very nice of you. In these times where you can't get a haircut and you have to just kind of make do, it's nice of people to say it's a look, which I agree. Yes, it's a look. I'll try to own it. Although hopefully I'll be able to get it cut this week. We'll see. And also I got a lot of compliments for getting another sponsor, which I really appreciate. And on that note, this video is sponsored by NordVPN. And before I roll the sponsor thing I've made, I just want to say, yeah, thank you guys for complimenting me on it. And if you want to help me out and help yourself out, get NordVPN using my code or my link. I have it. I use it. It's genuinely a useful service. And you're helping me. It's kind of like, people give to a Patreon to help their favorite YouTuber. Except in this case, you're helping me, but you're also, getting some for yourself. Although I guess you get something with Patreon. But you get what I mean. It's a win-win. Anyway, NordVPN. Here you go. Do you hate it when you're trying to watch a YouTube video or a movie or go on a website and it says it's not available in your country? Well, hate no more, because NordVPN is here to help you unlock entertainment and protect you while you move around online. Recommended by top tech experts from all of these companies. You've probably heard of it, but NordVPN is the best VPN in the game, with super fast servers and 24/7 customer support. They protect your data and your movement online. When you go to their website, you literally see your IP address right there, because that's how easy it is if you're not using a VPN. You don't want someone to know your IP address and then rub it in your face by putting it at the top of their website. NordVPN can help you watch entertainment that would only be accessible in other parts of the world. Also, it helps me out if you get it. So think of it as you're helping me while also helping yourself. So go to nordvpn.com/BHLHudson or use code BHLHudson to get 70% off a 2-year plan plus 1 month free, courtesy of yours truly. Alright, back to the video. So those are my thoughts on episode 4 of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. What did you think of it? Let me know all of your thoughts down below in the comments. Also, what do you think is going to happen in the next 2 episodes? I'm curious. While you're at it, be sure to like this video, check out my Instagram and Twitter at BHL_Hudson, check out this podcast that I do with a friend of mine where we talk about movies, TV shows, a bunch of nonsense. It's called The Poorly Planned Podcast, and subscribe for more videos like the one you just watched. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.